Good day, everyone. It is Thursday, the 15th of April, when some of us have to turn in taxes. Some of us are going to wait a month because we've been given an extra month in these COVID times, haven't we? Pretty extraordinary things have happened. Everything's different, as our administrative assistant said to me today. I think, boy, that's so true. Lots of things have changed. So one thing that hasn't changed is these daily presentations, and today I'm going to read from the 5th chapter of Galatians out of the Message. This is the text of the fruit of the Spirit that usually starts with the word love, which you will hear in our reading today, but I really love the way Eugene Peterson does this particular text. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Repetitive, loveless, cheap sex, a stinking accumulation of mental and emotional garbage, frenzied and joyless grabs for happiness, trinket gods, magic show religion, paranoid loneliness, cutthroat competition, all-consuming yet never satisfied wants, a brutal temper, an impotence to love or be loved, divided homes and divided lives, small-minded and lopsided pursuits, the vicious habit of depersonalizing everyone into a rival, uncontrolled and uncontrollable addictions, ugly parodies of community. I could go on, writes the Apostle Paul. This isn't the first time I've warned you, you know. If you use your freedom this way, you will not inherit God's kingdom. But what happens when we live God's way? God brings gifts into our lives, much the same way that fruit appears in the orchard. Things like affection for others, exuberance about life, serenity. We develop a willingness to stick with things, a sense of compassion in the heart, and conviction that a basic holiness permeates things and people. We find ourselves involved in loyal commitments, not needing to force our way in life, able to marshal and direct our energies wisely. All right, this is called Roots of Love. When it comes to the practice of stability, I have a mixed heritage. My mother, the eldest daughter of a mendicant musician, moved 28 times before she started high school. And remember, this is Jonathan Wilson Hartgrove in his book on the wisdom of stability, talking about his own family. With 3 daughters to raise in early midlife, my maternal grandfather settled down in King, North Carolina. Driving a Greyhound bus during the week and touring with the family band on the weekend kept him going. But Mom was glad to stay put. She fell in love with a local boy and married him right out of high school. Accepting an act of God, she'll never move again. Mom's need for stability fit well with my dad's story. As far back as anyone could remember, his people lived in the Stokes County, South Carolina. Our English name suggests a family tree rooted across the Atlantic Ocean, but all of our memories are grounded in the red dirt at the base of Sorrowtown Mountain. My dad grew up out of that soil, priming tobacco and paying attention to the local scene. As a kid, I was often amazed that he knew the names of every plant that grew in the yards of the folks we'd visit. He knew them like he knew the second cousins of our hosts, and Dad asked about both with the same genuine interest. He never got bored. Every detail of the place mattered to him. Once, when Mom and Dad were dating, driving with the windows down, They passed a tobacco field that had just been plowed. Dad smiled. Sure is beautiful, isn't it? Nervous with new love on a bright spring day, Mom was quick to celebrate beauty, but a bit hesitant to admit her confusion about just what Dad was admiring. Sure is, she said, and what part is most beautiful to you? I mean the way the dirt looks, turned over like that in the sun. At 16, Mom didn't yet appreciate the beauty of dirt, nor did she understand exactly why it mattered. But after more than 30 years in the place, having raised her own boys there, washing more of that red clay out of their clothes than she cared to remember, Mom remembered Dad's comment one spring day and told it to me with a smile. Grafted onto the local scene, she too has become a lover of the place, even of its dirt. Like the minerals that rise through roots to grow a tree planted in the ground, the land has gotten inside of her, claiming its place in her heart. To practice stability is to learn to love both a place and its people. The 12th century Benedictine Anselm of Canterbury compared a restless monk to a tree that, after being frequently transplanted or often disturbed, will not take root anywhere, but only withers and dies. If he often moves from place to place at his own whim, or remaining in one place, is frequently agitated by hatred of it, Anselm observes that the unhappy monk never achieves stability with roots of love. Anselm's warning is stern, but I love the idea that the stability we are made for helps us establish roots of love, binding us intimately to our landscape and the people who share life on it. How else can we learn the attention that is needed to really know a community? And how else would we ever gain the patience that is required to care for a place over time? Without roots of love, we easily become slaves to our own desires, using the place where we happen to be as a staging ground for our ambitions and manipulating the people around us so they might serve our objectives. We do this, of course, with the best of intentions, even in God's name. But until we give ourselves to a place, until we care enough to learn the names of its flowers and its second cousins, stability's wisdom suggests we cannot know very much about the one who so loved the world that God gave the only Son. Stability teaches us something about the importance of particularity. God's omnipotence and omnipresence may be attributes we can contemplate in the abstract realm of ideas, but the love of God is as particular as a Jewish man named Jesus, who was born of a woman named Mary in a town called Bethlehem. We know what love looks like when we know it among particular people in a given place. If the love of God and neighbor is our end goal, roots of love in stability are the means God has given for making progress in this life. No, I'm sorry. If the love of God and neighbor is our end goal, roots of love in stability are the means God has given for making progress in this life. The practice of stability, then, is an exercise in putting down roots. A good tree bears good fruit, we know, and the fruit of the Spirit begins with love. But we are product-oriented people, eager to skip over the process and enjoy the apple without attending to the soil and sun and roots that help it grow. All of us would love to be more loving, but we spend precious little time establishing roots of love. Without them, though, the tree withers, and there is neither fruit nor shade nor a branch to tie a swing on and enjoy a summer evening. If I really want to learn to love my neighbor, I have to pay attention to the details of life in this place. Stability's wisdom calls me to learn the ways and means of grafting onto this place. I certainly have enjoyed in 8 years grafting onto this place. In 8 years in Texas, you'd still be known as the new kid on the block. I don't know what it's like in Michigan yet, but maybe some of you could tell me. Some of you have established deep roots here and know what it's like to raise a family here, to grow things in the dirt, and know the seasons, and know generations of love. What an amazing thing. Because many of us here are transplants, having loved this place as kids or on vacations or whatever, and we end up coming here in retirement or in other ways, like I did in our life, for a new job, for a new call. So having roots of stability, that's something that has taken me a while to learn, but I really appreciate it now. Let's close with prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I hope you can think about some stable roots of love in your life today, and also the stability that God gives us, no matter where we are. Thanks be.